Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. The topic that I'm going to start is non-profitable organizations, NPO. Before moving ahead, I would like to request to all of you to subscribe my channel or YouTube channel with the name of Karachians Academy. I would like to give you a brief introduction regarding the non-profitable organization or the non-trading organization, right? Non-trading organizations are non-profit earning entities. The aim is to provide services to their members, but at cost. Such organizations do not have owners, they have members who elect one of the member for running the NPO. Since there is no owner, therefore there is no concept of capital, drawing or profit. Such organizations exist in the form of club or housing societies, and thus NPOs are referred to as club accounting. Right? Now, as we are studying the non-profitable organization NPOs, therefore we must know the difference between the profitable and the non-profitable organization. There are some terminologies which are used changeably in both type of organizations, right? The first one is capital. In profitable organization, owner's investment is referred as capital, whereas in non-profitable organization, it is referred to as accumulated funds, right? Similarly, the trading organization is known in the non-profitable organization as refreshment trading account. The profit and loss account with the name of income and expenditure account. Similarly, owing means arrears used in the non-profitable organization, whereas prepaid will be used as advances in non-profitable organization, right? Net profit or net loss will be replaced with surplus or deficit. Similarly, the creditors has been replaced in a non-profitable organization with the name of owing to supplier. And the last one is bank. It has been replaced in non-profitable organization with the name of receipts and payments account. Right? These are some of the change in terminologies which we will use in non-profitable organizations. Okay. Now we are moving towards the area which is usually asked in the past paper questions. If the requirement of the question is to prepare income and expenditure account and the statement of financial position, then all the following steps are required to be done, right? The first step is to calculate the opening accumulated fund. In order to find out the total, the opening accumulated funds balance, right? What you need to do, you have to deduct all the total opening liabilities from the total opening assets, right? It will be these information will be given in the question. What you need to do, you have to just take the total of opening assets and opening liabilities and take the difference in order to reach the amount of opening accumulated fund, right? There is a note that you must have to be very much careful while calculating the total opening assets, right? What's that? Don't forget to include the bank opening balance in total opening assets from the receipts and payment. Okay, usually students forgot to take the balance of bank account from the receipts and payment, as the bank has been replaced with the name of receipts and payment. Okay, now the second step is to prepare the receipts and payments account, right? As I have just told you that receipts and payment account is the replacement of bank account, right? The debit side represents the receipts and the credit side represents the payments. All cash inflows will be recorded in the receipt side, means in the debit side, whereas all the cash outflows will be recorded in the credit side, means in the payment side. Finally, you need to calculate their closing balances. Okay, usually receipts and payment account directly given in the question. Okay, most of the time 90 to 80 to 90% cases, the receipts and payment account directly given in the question, right? Now look the step number 3, the refreshment. Now what's the step number 3 is, you need to prepare the refreshment trading account for the year ended. Okay, actually the non-profitable organizations are not only providing the indoor facilities to their members, but along with them, the club accounts usually provides the refreshment facilities, the dine-in facilities to their members, like they have opened a bar or a restaurant, okay, where they they give dine-in facility to their members, all right? It means that restaurant or bar is also contributing their income in the total revenue of the club accounts, right? Therefore therefore the student is required to prepare a separate refreshment trading account for the restaurant or the bars in order to find the profit from that separate restaurant. Okay. What is the format? Now look at here. First, you have to write the sales of refreshment in the last column, then deduct this cost of sales, and you already know how to find out the cost of sales. Opening inventory starts from opening inventory of refreshment, then add the purchases of further inventory or refreshment. Okay, then subtract its closing inventory, right, in order to reach the cost of sales, which will be deducted from the net sales. Then you will find out the gross profit, right? Now, finally, what you need to do, you have to just reduce or deduct all the expenses which are related to the bar or the restaurants, like the wages given to the waiters or any other related expenses. Okay, you have to deduct all those expenses in order to reach the profit from refreshment account, right? Now we are moving towards the fourth step. Okay, the fourth step is to prepare the subscription account. Okay, subscription actually what do we mean by the subscription? Actually, the club accounts or the non-profitable organizations are providing many of the indoor facilities, indoor services to their members, like the indoor games, indoor gyms, swimming pool services, or bar facilities, libraries, indoor games, right? Against all these services, the club or the non-profitable organization charge a nominal annual amount from their members in advance, which will be termed as the subscription account, right? It means for the non-profitable organization, the subscription account is the main source of revenue, right? What we need to do, we have to prepare its T account in order to find out the actual amount of subscription which has to be taken in the income and expenditure account as a revenue, right? Its format is, first you need to write the opening arrears. Arrears means receivable of subscription amount from the members, right? Write the opening areas in the debit side and the closing areas in the credit side if it is given in the question. Similarly, write the prepaid. Prepaid is your liability, means some of the members have paid their subscription account for 3 years, 5 years, but in advance. It means you have received the subscription amount from some of the members right now for 2 years, 3 years, or any other time period, right? Therefore, what you need to do, you have to write here the opening balance of the prepaid in the credit side and its closing balance if it is given in the question in the debit side, right? Then this receivable, this receivable amount will be reduced if the non-profitable organization or the club account will receive the subscription amount from their members, right? What you need to do, you have to look the amount of subscription in the receipts and in the receipt side of the receipts and payment account. Okay, there you will find the amount that has been received from the members, right, against the subscription. Just write here that amount in the credit side, okay, in order to reduce the receivable amount. Then the bad debt, not usually it is not given in your question in the O levels. It is most of the time it is given in A levels or A2 papers, right? So against the bad debt, this subscription will have to be reduced. Therefore, it will be credited, but it is usually not given in your O level syllabus. Okay. Now the credit side is 100% completed. What you need to do, you have to just take the total of the credit side and write the total amount in the total column of both sides, right? Then what you need to do, you have to just find out the balancing figure in order to reach the amount of income and expenditure amount, right? So income and expenditure account will be the balancing figure. Okay. Now I hope that you have understand the subscription account, how to prepare the subscription account, right? I'm moving ahead. Now step number five. In step number five, what you need to prepare, you need to prepare the statement which was asked in the question, and the statement is income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st of December, whatever the date is given in the question. Okay, you have to write here the income and expenditure account is the replacement of income statement or profit and loss account, right? With the help of this statement, the club account determines or find its profit or loss, which is termed here the surplus or the deficit, right? The format is very simple. What you need to do, you have to just write the total revenues or the incomes that you have that has been generated during the period in the club account, right? The main revenue, the main source of revenue is subscription account, right? Right here the subscription amount from the subscription account that we have just learned, right? Write it in the second column. Then the profit from the refreshment account, right? It again in the second column. Similarly, add all these sources of revenues that has been generated, okay, by the non-profitable organization during the period. It may includes gifts, donations, legacy, okay. If these are for not for any specific purpose, then you should have to take them in as the income. Then gain on the disposal of any non-current asset or fixed asset, okay. Interest received, okay. If the non-profitable organization has deposited has made some long-term investment or short-term investment, it will be received the amount of interest which will be added here as an income for the organization. Then taking from the pool tables or entrance fees can also be given in the question. Okay, these both of these are also participating in the income of the non-profitable organization. Therefore, you should have to write it in the heading of incomes, right? Then find the total of all these income and write in the last column. Then what you need to do, you have to list all the expenses which the non-profitable organization has incurred during the period. It may be rent for the premises, loss on disposal of any non-current asset, loss on refreshment, depreciation of the equipment, depreciation of the machineries, or depreciation of the indoor equipments or buildings, premises, right? Similarly, interest expense, insurance, rent, and stationaries. Okay, make the total of all these expenses and deduct it from the total income in order to reach the surplus or the deficit amount. If the final figure is in positive, it means the club account or the non-profitable organization has now, this is the last statement, the statement of financial position as at 31st of December, whatever the date is given in your question, write it here. The format for the financial position statement is same as you have already learned if in your sole trader type of businesses, right? Start from non-current assets, list all the non-current assets, and write their net book value total balance in the last column. Then it will be followed by the current assets. Write all the current assets, and don't forget to take the subscription in areas and the receipts and payment balance, right? Then make the total of all current assets right in the last column, and make the total of non-current asset and the current assets in order to get the total of total assets, right? Now, there's a little change in the format here, which is only in equities and liabilities, right? Start it from the opening balance of accumulated fund, which is the replacement of capital, right? Then add the surplus or less the deficit if the firm has faced loss. Then add the donations, gifts, legacy if these has been received with a specific purpose only, right? Then make the total and write it in the last column. Then it will be followed by the current liabilities. Here, write all the current liabilities, which includes the payables, accruals, and don't forget to write the subscription in advance. Okay? Similarly, if the receipts and payment has the negative balance, it means if it is given in overdraft, then it will also be the current liability. Then you should have to write here the overdraft of receipts and payment in the current liability. Now do the total of current liability and write in the last column. Similarly, make the list of non-current liabilities, and finally you need to calculate the total liabilities and the accumulated fund so that its balance will become 100% equal to the amount of your total assets, right? Now, this is what all about for the NPOs. I hope that this lecture will assist you or helps you greatly in order to uh, flourish your concepts of NPOs. Okay. Inshallah ta'ala, I will upload my next lecture regarding the past paper question of NPO. Okay. Allah Hafiz. Take care. Allah Hafiz.